Hello, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut with Brian Galke, and we are ACES53. And we've been doing this for a couple years now, and eventually we'll upload it as a podcast. Brian said he's taking that on starting in January. Yeah, that's it. That's a ticket. That's an old thing.
Yeah.
All right. So on Tuesday, I kind of went off on what I had been doing about ebooks, website transferring, and other stuff that I've been working on. Lead magnets that I think is so important, because if you got 500 people coming to your website on a daily basis and you get none of them, that's a waste of people coming to your website.
Right.
And so you need to have some type of lead magnets. And one of the problems I have is I have multiple things I deal with, and so I should have a lead magnet for every one of those issues. Well, most of the stuff that pops up on the website, you only can have one. But there is a company out there that has a bar that pops up that you can have multiple things in it for people to click on. And I have that. I've had that for a year, but not have been able to utilize it because I didn't have all the other stuff. I find this stuff, I jump on it, and then eventually, just like we showed on Tuesday, my new podcasting course that I'm doing. It's called Pod Veteran, and I showed the logo that I had done, and I said, and I did it through ChatGPT, but there were some issues with it. Well, then I just figured out how to fix your issues on that. So, but we can get into that a little bit later. I want you to talk about kind of what you were doing, because we didn't go over everything you were doing. I met you in Vegas on last week, Monday, and we talked for them. We hadn't seen each other, I don't know, like 2 years in person, even though we see each other twice a week and, more than that sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. We kind of talked about it a little bit while you were searching for some stuff. And there was a podcast out there that was held in the Sirius XM studios there in the Wynn Hotel. And it was really cool. Like they said, they kind of batch all the podcasts together at one time. So she records from 9 a.m. till 3 p.m. And they have it set up where there's a host, 3 co-hosts, and they just get to answer questions and ask different things. So you get to meet a good variety of people. And one of the tips that we talk about quite a bit is get in the room and use the time wisely. So they said, hey, you can show up at noon and have lunch with us, and then you're on at 2:00. And I said, that's cool, but what time can I get there? And they said, well, you can come over at 10. So I got there at 10 so I can meet the other speakers, because some of the people spoke and then left because they had other obligations. They had to fly out, you name it. But then we had a speaker dinner that night, and it was a really cool place called La Cave that was across from the studio. And we had dinner, and we just got to talk, got to meet everyone. There was a lady who was there from Connecticut, several people from Arizona, you name it. And then went and met you for dinner that night, flew home.
Drinks. We didn't have dinner.
Oh, sorry, for drinks. Yeah. And
you
then
already had dinner.
Yeah, you had dinner, a late night dinner. Then I flew home for a day, did laundry, and then I flew out to Arizona because I had met an attorney when we were on vacation in Italy. Me and the ex were at the hotel, and her husband were there also. We ended up just talking to a bunch of people at the bar, and they asked what I do. And I explained, she's like, oh, I'm an attorney. Would you come speak at my event? I'm like, yeah. And I really didn't think anything would come of it. And I've just been following up with her back and forth. And it was a really cool dinner and networking event that she threw on. They had everything from this lady who's like 18 feet in the air playing violin when people come in. She had a marching band come through, all personal injury attorneys there in Arizona. And it was just a really unique dinner to get to go see. So you've been to Secret Knock before, but it almost had a Secret Knock-ish type vibe because it was constant new things that were coming in. So it started off with, you walked in on a red carpet that was connected to a lady's dress. And then you came around the side, and there was a lady I mentioned before, like 18 feet in the air playing violin. So she was kind of like doing trap violin, where they played a little bit of music in the background. She's playing violin along with it. And then at one point they had a drumline band that came in. Then they just had, when you went inside, people dressed up like disco balls. And then they had a king and queen, because it was called the prom was the kind of like the theme of the event. So people came dressed up in tuxedos and gowns and all that kind of stuff. And I got to speak during dinner. And then they went out that night, and it was just a fun event for one night. You fit so much stuff in. It was crazy, but it was fun.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what else you got? You got next week you're not here because you got back-to-back events that you're going to, which is good. I'm glad you're working again.
Yeah. I'm leaving later today. I fly to Miami, go speak in actually West Palm Beach. But because I'm flying from Miami to Phoenix, if I flew into West Palm, I couldn't get connecting flights. So flying today into Miami, speaking tomorrow on Friday Friday night flying to Phoenix, attending an event as the host guest for something in Phoenix, Arizona. I'll be there through Monday morning. Then I'm flying to Chicago to speak to a payroll company, and then flying home Tuesday, hanging out with kiddo, and then turn around and flying Wednesday to go speak with Steve Sims in Miami or in Orlando at what's called the Bridgepoint Conference. And so that one's open to the public. So I'll put this down the banner later on. But yeah, it's a conference there for its service-based business owners. So HVAC, you name it. And it's going to be interesting because not only are they having people there, but I think they're also going to stream it. So it'll be a bunch of people in the room, a bunch of people online. And we're doing the bourbon and brainstorming the night before. So VIPs who have tickets get to come hang out with Steve and I, have some old fashions. Speaking on the 22nd, then flying home the next day because I have a nephew's birthday party. And then in Dallas, we have the largest invite-only black tie event. It's called the Dallas Margarita Society. And that's going on the night of the 23rd. So my life will be hectic from today until the 24th.
Oh, what are you going to do? Then you got Thanksgiving.
Yep.
So
and then you got Thanksgiving.
Right.
So that'll be time to rest.
All right. Anything in any of the events that you went to that you want to share that's something that people should take, that you came across? I mean, one little nugget from,
I think it's the big thing that I saw with all the different speakers at the different events that you and I have been kind of harping on is branding. And so one of the attendees who was at the podcast event, he's been at corporate America on the kind of cybersecurity side and everything else. And his big struggle is he's known in his one industry, but as he just stepped away, he's having to start from scratch. So we sat and talked about what to do to get him branding, what he's got to do for social media posts, things like that. And he's been taking good action on it, but it's a common theme. So I have a friend right now who he's an attorney, and they're trying to figure out like, how can you get additional business? And he too is wanting to create a social media presence. And look at the last election. We're not going to get into politics one way or the other, but they said that this was the first election that was determined by social media and podcasts versus mainstream media.
Right. And actually it's the podcast that put him over the top.
Correct.
Yeah.
But it's
social media can be controlled. So
right. But nobody paid attention. Well, some people pay attention to the celebrity endorsements in previous years. Just like advertising, you can have a celebrity holding a watch and people are like, oh, I need to have that watch. In the past, a lot of celebrities helped determine which way people voted. This year, it mainly went, like you said, to podcasts, to social media brands, you name it, versus celebrities and media, which is the way it's always been. So it goes back to one of those things of, if people think social media is going away or branding is not important, they're not paying attention to how people make buying decisions on a majority of things now.
And people are changing how they're looking at this, because I want to back up a little bit because, all right, so Oprah came out. This is the first time she's endorsed somebody for president, right? Her company got $1 million to do that. Yeah. She didn't. So someone asked her, did you get paid $1 million? She said, no, I did not. Technically, that's true because the corporation is a separate entity. It's not her.
Sure.
Right. Okay. You can. And so everybody who came out got paid. They spent $1 billion. And by the time they were done, they were still in the hole. They were short 20-some million dollars.
Right.
After spending $1 billion.
Yeah.
They wasted money, and they could have went on Joe Rogan and did the same thing President Trump did, JD Vance. They had he had so many people on, and Bernie. I mean, and they're saying, well, we need to get the same type of person, but for us. But Joe Rogan isn't for anybody.
Right. He's not us one way or the other.
No, he's a separate person, and that's what you want. But they're so used to wanting to control. And this, what I'm getting at is, I'm not talking politics. I'm just saying, making a statement. They're so used to controlling things by using social media and other stuff in the media to control their narrative, that you have to do something different today. And that's the same thing with you coming out as an attorney or something else, and you're trying to brand yourself. You have to do something totally different and opposite of what everybody else is doing in your industry.
Right.
And that's what I'm getting at, because they're controlling that whole market right now. How else can you do stuff? Podcasting is the number one way. You want to get in podcasting? Don't worry, I'll have a podcasting course coming here very soon. I'll have it up here in the next week so that you can understand that. I'm not trying to promote my stuff. I'm just like, there's so much to do.
Information.
People want to know should I get this mic?
Yeah.
Hell no. But I hear
The
it's so
starter
much
mic we all
promoted.
get. Yeah.
Huh?
The
Yeah, it's the
starter
first
mic
one.
we all get.
Yeah, because everybody's like, it's a good mic. It's great for everybody. You can put it in the middle and picks up stuff. Yeah, it picks up all the sound, which you don't want. And knowing that kind of stuff, so you don't waste a couple $100 on a mic that you put around and keep sewing. Don't get this one.
Yeah. Well, and we're only saying that because that's where we started. I
Right, I'm
had
not
a Yeti
knocking.
mic for forever, and you were finally like, "Hey, it's time to upgrade." And I'm so glad I did. As a matter of fact, I recorded a video for that attorney event I went to because they weren't able to have the TV up like the venue thought they were going to be able to. And when I first did the recording, I'm like, "Why does it sound so bad?" And I realized it was trying to record through the Mac and not through the Shure mic. And when I re-recorded, I was like, "Whoa, that makes such a big difference."
And if
When
we
you
could
put
get,
it in there,
and if we
you
could
know?
get you a Rodecaster, it
Uh-huh.
sounds so much better.
Yeah.
Because you need more amplification of that power to that mic because it
Right.
takes a lot of power, and people it's so much better than what you had, but
Mhm.
we could get you even better than that by adding. And that's because people have always asked me. I have them come on my Inner Edison podcast, and I'm like, you're on that? I can't have you on this. You don't sound well. You
Right.
have to have the basic stuff, and that's why I'm putting together what I'm putting together, because I'm tired of having people come on and try to do it on their phone, try to
Right.
do it on something else. I'm like, no, it sounds horribly. I don't care how much we edit it and how much we put in there, reduce this and do that.
Mhm.
It doesn't fix. You can't fix crap.
It's funny. It's like when you go to the grocery store, at least I'll use myself as an example. You're like, God, I spent $200 on groceries. But then if you go out for a night, you can spend $100 on drinks and appetizers somewhere and you don't think about it. And that's the way, like when I first got into this, I was like, I don't know if I want that mic. That's $500. But it makes a world of difference. Or we've talked about before, and I know you're going to create this list for everyone, having the Avaya
I already
camera that you
created it.
recommended, so much better than the one that's built into my laptop. And it's crazy because the cameras on our phones are so stellar, but the laptop cameras are still so far behind.
And you can use your phone camera, but
Yeah.
there's so many other ways. Like I use a Sony, but there's other ones you can use. And
Right.
the Via we talked about, it was the first camera I had in my studio where I had 4 of them. Just like you, I think you still use the Via, and you can zoom in, zoom out, up, down, left, right, whatever, so you can put it perfectly. Or a lot of them don't. But there's so much stuff that you can do, and so much stuff that it's just overwhelming. And people just say, oh, okay, I'm not going to do it because it's too much. But I want to set it up to where you're successful, and so that's what the whole thing I was talking about. So on Tuesday, I don't care. Can I jump into the whole show them the logo?
Yeah, show them what we were talking about earlier.
Quick?
Yeah,
because on Tuesday I showed how I created some logos, and so before I get there, these are the statements I can put underneath it. Which statement do you like better? Because right now I have building better podcasters.
Okay.
So I have empowering your podcast journey, mastering the mic, amplify your voice, where podcasters become pro, guiding you to podcast excellent from aspiring podcaster to pro.
I kind of like the first two.
I like mastering the mic, amplifying your voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to copy that. Okay. Just so I have it. So if you see here, this is what we were talking about. So ChatGPT helped me create this logo. But if you see down here at the bottom where it's all messed up.
Yeah.
So you click on it to fix this. And then you go to this button right here. And then you highlight where you want it fixed. Oh, didn't mean to get rid of that. And then you type in what you want to add. And you go, oh, and let's see if it works this time. It's creating.
Yeah.
It's creating.
Watching the wheel.
Tick tock, tick tock, bing bom, beep bop, beep bop. Would help if I had faster service, I think.
Could be. It's not my fault for once.
It's always your fault. But I didn't know you could do this until I was playing around. Well, it's not perfect. I'd have to fix it again. But I can get it perfect. But see, mastering the mic, amplifying your voice. Well, it didn't fix it. Well, I did it. Earlier one I did, it fixed it perfectly. So I'm going to have to tell it, no, let's do this. I think it's the comma.
I wonder if it doesn't like the comma.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Amplify, mastering the mic. Yeah, let's try a different. I don't know if I can get down there.
Make it a period, not a comma. See if it fixes it.
Mastering the mic. How about
Master the
amplifying?
mic.
How about amplifying your voice by mastering the mic?
Try it.
Yeah.
That way there's no periods, commas, anything like that. Mastering.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
So amplify your voice by mastering the mic. Is that correct, sir?
Yep. That looks correct. I keep having to go from big screen to little screen so I can see it.
Because the one I did earlier, it says building better podcasters that fix it perfect the first time.
Yeah.
So of course, when we're trying to show it to you, it's not going to work. It always
the way it goes.
Always it is. Oh, did I not spell amplifying right?
No, you spelled it right.
It's almost there.
Yeah.
And your is spelled wrong.
So you'll just keep doing it over and over. Now, do you have to re-highlight it or just say no, fix it?
You have to, because I have tried not. Well, it was weird. The first one did it no problem, right?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get it again.
But for people who are even wondering how you got here, you said you did it on your phone, and it's an interesting thing with all the different softwares that are out there. So, for example, I hate CapCut on my computer, love it on my phone. Right. Love Opus Clips on my computer, hate it on my phone.
Yeah, on the phone. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, and you said for this one, the images you are actually able to do on your phone.
Yeah, I use the
and
chat.
Not on the computer.
Yeah,
so yeah. So that's one of my things is with all the software that we recommend, play with it on your phone, your tablet, and your laptop, and figure out what's the best one you want.
Like it got your voice.
Mastering is spelled wrong too.
Yeah, it's missing an I. Anyway, we'll play with it later. But all right, so we'll exit out of this. But what I did is this. So where did it go? Did it
go up one or two? Yeah.
Right there. Making better podcasters. So that's the one I went. I think I'm gonna stick with that.
Sure.
Because that's the one I'm gonna. This is the logo I like. Right?
Yeah.
So ChatGPT created this, and this was messed up down here, and so I highlighted the same way. Maybe it just likes only 3 words.
Could be. Yeah. Because notice that one came in and stayed red versus the other ones that made white with the red end caps.
Right, and I like the red better.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it makes it stand out.
Is that what it does?
Just a wee little bit.
All right, let me get. Oh, why can't I come over here? Wrong screen. Hey, when that happens, damn it. But so what did I just save me? $1,000 bucks?
Mm-hmm.
Doing that and somebody else creating that and taking the time. I can still send it to somebody else and have them fix it, if I want to. Is veteran spelled right? Yeah, I think so.
Go back into your screen for ChatGPT. I want to see something that if it's the same as mine or not. Okay.
I'm gonna click out of this.
Yeah, click out of there. Okay, so it's interesting. Under where yours to the left-hand side says explore GPTs, it started populating different ones in mine that I've never selected. And so if I go look at mine right now, it says write for me, and then Scholar GPT, and then explore other GPTs. And I don't know why it's in there, but it's
I have it, but I haven't done any of that.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
So they have an image. So they have an image generator right here.
Yes, when you go into them.
And this whole Canva thing, I have not got that to work.
I haven't played with that one yet.
Look, but they have a logo creator.
Yes, the other ones are in there. So see where number 2 and number 4, the write for me and the Scholar, it auto-populated that to my left-hand side, right under ChatGPT. But I've never played with those. Oh, there's Dolly. If you scroll down, that was the one that I was trying to think of earlier to do images. That DALL-E. Right. Yeah, so for people who haven't played in it,
marketing, branding,
I've played in that one. And it's interesting because you can go in there and say, okay, do this. And then say, what people always forget is write it as if a third grader was reading it.
Yeah, but look at these over here
Uh-huh.
where you can, it's AI score is going to be like it's a human.
Yeah.
I don't understand this because they always say, "Oh, you can do Canva and it'll go right in there and make them for you." I have not had that happen yet. So, and maybe it's just me. Maybe things are changed since the last
I wonder
time.
if it's because you have teams assigned to your Canva, and if that's more for a individual to do it.
Because it has presentations here, right, for slides. But I'm gonna, because everyone I've ever tried when I had ChatGPT to make into a PowerPoint presentation, it says I cannot do that. I can give you the text, but I cannot create the so I'm gonna have to play with this more. There's just too much. Too much.
But it's good to go in there and see, like, what do you need help with? And then as you can see, the
flow
search bar. Yep.
So on one of my posts that I created through, I showed on Tuesday's show how I created the using this banner. Let me just put it up there real quick so people know what I'm talking about. So I created this banner. Well, I didn't create it. I stole it for somebody else, and then I created it for me. And this one, so your research for me, act as whatever expert you want it to, social media marketer, tell me 10 frustrations, 10 desires, 10 fears that whoever your market is, experience with getting, or experience with whatever their experiences are. So I did it for business owners getting a mortgage, and put it in a table format, label X-axis 1 through 10, Y-axis frustration, desires, and fears, then create a 30-day social media content from this list. And it did. You can make it 60, you could do 90. And then I created all my posts and created all my graphics in ChatGPT. So they're mine. And now I have them through Go High Level set up to go for 2 years.
That's awesome.
Right. I mean, because people are like, well, how? Because these are specific for desires and frustrations and what people have. So they're not going to see the right one all the time. Plus, I have them hitting 3 times a day. So there are different times for everything.
Well, and it's not like you're talking about interest rates. So it's not something you're going to have to go in and edit.
This is evergreen.
Exactly.
I created evergreen content. That's what you want to create.
And that's what a lot of people do. So what's that?
With this? We done with this?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what a lot of people do that people don't realize, is they go out and they say, okay, I'm going to create, like you did, evergreen content. I'm going to schedule it out so far in advance. So a lot of people, what they'll do is they have a content day where they'll sit for 2 or 3 hours and just cut video after video after video, and they'll push them out throughout the week. But to your point, there are companies that go out and take all the things you put out there. So like right now I have close to 1,000 videos, posts, you name it, on Instagram. Technically, I could not have to create another one ever again. And like you said, just recycle those old ones. And that's what some people do. Right. Now, I like creating new ones from the new talks because I change things up. But
let me back up. Hold on. Let me back up. So
Yeah.
you still do that.
Right.
But you put these other ones. So it's every day you have a new, 3 times a day. They say you're supposed to post 3 times a day, plus videos, plus stories. That's fine. You set all these up. So, and then with new stuff, you just add it to the stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Where most of us go, well, I got to do a new one every day. So what I did was what I set this stuff up, and it's 3 times a day, but I still got to do my TikToks.
Yep.
I still got to do my video stuff. So I'm going to do all the video stuff next, and then set the same thing up for them, and then add to it weekly with new stuff.
Right.
But if for some reason I can't do it on a weekly basis because we're doing speaking or other stuff, it doesn't stop your algorithm from going.
Correct.
And the funniest thing was that post of mine that went viral when it had to do with putting in a manufactured home on a property so you don't have to pay taxes to put it on for permanent foundation. Yeah. I'm in Vegas, and my wife's friend that we know that bought a house there, Courtney helped him, and he's like, they're going to put a small house on a piece of land for the brother. So, but we're not going to attach it to the ground because I watched a TikTok about that. He goes, yeah, you did? He goes, yeah, yours.
There you go.
And we're not even connected.
Yeah. Well, you never know. That's the whole reason that you put content out. And to your point, depending on the platform, like, is it smart to reuse stuff on YouTube? Not so much, because that's more for long form and people want to see fresher content, but you're not fighting the scroll on YouTube. However, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you're fighting the scroll every single time somebody logs in. So that's why those platforms, and LinkedIn's kind of the same, is you can reuse content, and you should be reusing content like you are. I don't do that. I need to be doing that. Is because you're going on when someone logs in versus YouTube is when someone comes in to search for something in particular.
Right. But that should be evergreen too.
Right.
They search for the same stuff all the time. They search for rates. They search, for us, there's so much we can do. So a lot of my content is evergreen, but one of the biggest issues that I had when in beginning doing my stuff is some of my stuff is only today, tomorrow, the next day, which is what they tell you not to do. But that is the stuff I get the most people looking at.
Right.
Because it's constant news right now. Right.
Now,
the BLS jobs report came out. Okay. What does that mean?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'll be doing the podcast anymore. I just got one of my invoices from Facebook, and I got 70 cents. So, there'll be signs when I'm rich.
Hey, at least you're getting paid because you set it up.
Yeah, exactly.
I got free money. I got to go in there and put in my information. You can make money off of this. I know, but you just Facebook.
Right.
Oh, and then be very careful because there's people who are setting up your accounts or getting in there and hitting you for. I had a friend of mine with Google Ads. He has no Google Ads, and he got hit with Google Ads. I got nailed with Facebook constantly for like every 3 days, $250. I'm like, I have no ads going, or I'm not spending anything. So, and you can't get a hold of Facebook. So the easiest thing to do is just go into your bank and put the fraud on.
With the exception, if you pay the $14.99 for a certified account, then there are ways to contact them.
Oh, well, of course I pay for that, but it's just been a nightmare. So I'm like, okay, I have no, and then all of a sudden I saw my account for me at Parcaut got stopped. Right.
Oh, really?
So, well, not my whole account, just the ad account.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but I don't have any ads. I'm not doing any ads. So.
Well, what I've never understood, like our friend Joe Ingram, they get fake Joe accounts every few days.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He loves to repost, like, here's another fake Joe account. It's crazy to me that somebody will steal a photo of you, pretend to be you on there. And sometimes they're not even hitting you up. Like, obviously there's, hey, I'm locked out of my account. Can you give me your phone number and, click on this to help me reset my account? Like, that's simple stuff that people do that get locked out. I just saw somebody, who was it? Is it somebody I know? It was like, hey, they reached out, and I was like, something shady about it. I went and looked, and all of a sudden it's all Bitcoin posts. Oh, with Bitcoin, I've been able to buy this. With Bitcoin, I've been able to buy that. I'm like, yep, their account got taken over.
Yeah, and they do that. I mean, that whole, and I hate when people put on their highlight an account. And it's like, okay, I don't even know you. How did you become my friend? Or you followed me, and now all of a sudden you highlight it. Okay, guess what? Boom, boom, you're gone. Bye-bye.
Yeah. It's but it obviously must work. They keep doing it. I don't know why, but they do. So
it's been nice talking to you again, even though I haven't seen you forever.
I know. But got to see you in person last week. Now twice this week we got to hang out. So and then next week you're on your own. No, I'll try and join if I can. But
that's all right. No, if you have free time and for a few minutes, like we a couple of times you were able to do it 10 o'clock and we just talked where you're sitting somewhere, and as long as we can hear you, that's good because you can talk about the event. We've had a lot of people who like that.
A lot of long flights coming up next week. So the flight from Miami to Phoenix is a 5-hour flight. So they're like, would you like to pay X amount to upgrade to first class? Yes, I would. that's
is it a sleeping pod or just up first class?
What's that?
During the day?
During the day. Yeah.
So it's not one of those pods.
No, I wish it was.
That's a problem, is going to Florida, they don't have them. But if you go to New York, they do.
See, I'm trying to think the last one I've done one. I did one to Florida one time because it ended up not in first class, but the business class that lies flat still. I got to do that one, but this one was just regular, and I think it was $300 to upgrade. I'm like, absolutely, because if not, that one, and I upgraded because I was late booking my flight to Phoenix. From Phoenix to Chicago, and that's a 3-hour flight, and only middle seats were left. And it was like, would you like a middle seat, or would you like to pay $270 to be in first class? I'm like, $270. No question.
Because when I would do the red eye to New York and stuff like that for like Steve's event, they had pods, and I'm like, okay, it's perfect. Nice. I can just go to sleep in first class, just sleep there. Not that I can sleep there, but at least I tried. Versus trying to be next to somebody okay, I can't sleep.
Well, you and I have wide shoulders. It's just there's no way I'm doing a middle seat, and that's the whole reason I hate aisle seats. Is everybody just hits my shoulders nonstop. But I get a window seat, usually exit row, and I just kind of lean in and try and go to sleep. But I cannot. I don't have the tensile neck strength to do an aisle seat. So
the problem I have about aisle seats is the fact that the person with the drink cart, her butt's hitting me all the time.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, just
she should have stopped being, and I don't mean this wrong, but if your butt hits the seats, you need to get a different butt or lose some weight. I'm sorry.
Even
now I'm going to all hate mail, but I get hit constantly by people walking by. There was an old lady who hit me with her purse real hard. So I hit her purse, and then she came in and hit me harder. I'm like, what the fuck? You just hit me. Excuse my language, people.
Yeah. I just don't think people realize. And the people that drive me nuts are the ones who don't want to pay the $25 to check a bag. And so they're trying to like pack everything in, and then they're mad because they like group 5 and then there's no bins left. And I just wish the airlines would figure it out. Like, just make it part of the ticket price. Let people check it. I see the flight attendants' frustration with people almost getting into fist fights over bin space and all this kind of stuff. And it's just, it is what it is.
That's right. Is what it is. Yep. I want that other statement. Anyway, we'll move on.
Yeah. Well, what we'll have to look at also in one of the future ones, since we're talking about you're going to start going to events again in 2025, are what are some of the events that people may not know that would be good for them? I know one of the things you were talking about is what Podfest you may consider going to.
Speak. If I speak, I'll go. If I don't speak, I might not go. I might just pay for if they do videos.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
That is a 6.5, 7 hour flight for me.
Yeah.
I can do so much more with that time.
Well, it's crazy how many events are constantly going on that you're not aware of until like I'll see something that somebody's posting. They were right here in Dallas, and I had no idea that event was even going on. I mean, so there's so many different things out there.
I hit high level next year for sure.
Yeah. I'll be there because I get a ticket for speaking this year. I get a free ticket for next year. So hoping to be back up on stage again.
Do they do videos?
They have not sent us the videos yet, but yes, they were going to film it, send it out. They had professional photographers, really cool. You saw the picture. They did it amazing, like where they had the speakers' names on the side. The videos came out. They had the fireworks when I walked out. That was the first time I've ever had the flames and everything when I've come out. That was kind of cool.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, that was just like our anniversary night when we had brought the cake to the restaurant. Oh, so next time you're in Vegas, try Primal Steakhouse. It was pretty
Primal.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah. My wife had the short ribs, which were to die for. I had the elk. It looked like a rack of lamb, but it was elk. First one came out too chewy because they overcooked it, but the manager's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fix that," and brought it. It was perfect. But by that time, I'd already eaten half of my wife's short ribs.
That's funny.
And I was full, but they were pretty good. But yeah, because I wanted a steak, but unless I'm splitting it with my wife, I don't need a 30-ounce steak or a 20-ounce steak right now in today's world. I don't eat as much as I used to.
Right. Yeah. I've got some buddies that if we all go out, we'll split like a tomahawk, but you have to have another big meat eater that's there with you. Like, I don't understand the people who go buy a tomahawk and it's just them eating it.
I used to be that person.
Were you? I got you.
Now it's just, I get stuffed.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah, especially we'll move on from there. Yeah. All right. So next week I'll be here, so that means you probably won't have anybody watching, but I will keep you updated with stuff I'm doing, because I talked about on Tuesday how I'm doing a bunch of different ebooks and how to upload them. Because I mean, that's where some money is. You can upload ebooks to Amazon, sell them for $3. People buy them constantly. Or other prices. And then I created my whole veteran book off of my current book. Plus I put benefit information in there, and I'll keep everybody posted how I'm doing that. And my next step is to do the cover, even though I did the cover in here and there was a couple words messed up. I'm going to go and fix it and see if I can fix it with what I just learned today.
Yeah.
Hey, but what are you gonna do? I mean, it's just, there's so many tools out there for people to use to make them faster at helping other people do stuff. I'm not trying to take away money from people. I'm just trying to see what you can do on your own, so that busy people won't do it anyway. Like that attorney and the other person need help. Have them reach out to me. I'll help them get their podcast stuff going. They don't have to pay. They can just reach out. But that's why we do ACES53, which originally we were doing it to train you and you'd become the authority in your industry. And we're going to even put together different training on that so that you can learn from us. That's our next step. And then we're going to put together our community. And that will be, and we'll put it on, to go high level. We'll set up our community. We'll set up the mastermind. We'll do all these different things that we should have done. But I think now is a better time to do it because we both of us understand a lot more than we did 2 years ago.
Absolutely. And the key takeaway from everything you just said is you already have a full-time thing that brings in money, but you're looking at what are the other things that you can do once and benefit from long-term. Right. And there's a guy, I think is Jason Wojo, W-O-J-O. That's one of the things he trains on is why are people not having little, everybody thinks, oh, I got to have this, $2,000 course. He's like, no, you can have a $49, $29, $19, whatever, that thousands of people buy versus having an expensive one. And then you have like Eileen Wilder, who she's on the opposite side. You have to have a high ticket, 30 to 50,000 ticket. Then you develop your small stuff later on. There's no right or wrong. It's just find what works for you. So with your business and industry that you're in, a book was a no-brainer. But then you did the book. That book helped you get onto a documentary. And then you're still niching down saying, you know what, I want to do more with veterans. And then you just showed us the logo earlier. Now you want to help veterans create podcasts.
Well, not only veterans, but that's just my brand.
Right.
I'll help everybody. But that's just, to me, it's a play on the word veteran.
Exactly.
Because you can be a veteran of your industry and not a military veteran.
Right. Yep.
So it hits both for me.
It does.
Right. I think since 2018, doing Mike is pretty good for that's 6 years. Is that considered me a veteran for that?
Yeah. Considering what was the 11 episodes or however many is it? The average amount of episodes?
Oh, the 1023 rule of podcasting, when most podcasts quit after the 10th episode.
Yeah.
About 80% of them. And then the 23rd is about another 10% of those. I mean, of that other 10% more drop off after that.
Right. Yeah. And it's easy to do. People get busy, people dabble in things a little bit. And that's one of the things that is a universal life truth. And that is consistency wins. It doesn't matter if it's eating healthy, it doesn't matter if it's working out, it doesn't matter if it's walking. Consistency is what gets everyone ahead. And that's what we were talking about earlier about you're doing the post. So post 3 or 4 times a day. That's going to give you the omnipresence that people don't necessarily have. And what a lot of people struggle with is getting started, feeling like, an imposter, but it's like everything else. Nobody's good the first day you walk into a gym. Right. You go home, you hurt for a few days, you feel awkward, or people looking at me, not. Then you just keep going and you get better over time. So like the people I was talking to this week, they're like, well, what else do I need to know? I'm like, you're going to suck when you get started. They're like, what? I'm like, it's like listening, back when you had answering machines, people like, I don't like listening to my own voice. Well, when you get on video, it's even worse. Then you start critiquing yourself. After a while, you start not to care. And several of the speakers have started documenting that journey and showing it to people. One of the best 2 that I think that are out there, one is Pat Hilton, who we've had on here before. Pat talks about he took a chance on himself, drove from Dallas to Las Vegas with a pregnant wife to get in front of Grant Cardone for a few minutes, and he let him play. And now he's on stages with Grant Cardone. But he also shows that journey, he's constantly posting, here's where I was in 2016 versus here where I am today. And then Jen Gottlieb was one of the other speakers at the high level event, and she shows what her videos were like. She goes live every day, and she shows all the screw ups that were there and her first time speaking and everything else. Too many people only see the highlight reel for other people and think I have to be that person. And it's not that way. Go and research the same person you're impressed by, find their original videos. They all suck.
Yep. Except for mine. Mine were perfect.
Yeah.
The videos were, because I have those ones I did where I would pull it out of a glass. It was a crystal thing that I won at one of the Steve things where the event you were at, remember? So both of us, Rob and I both won it. He didn't want it, but then later he wanted it. Yeah. And so I took it. Anyway, so I used it to pull out a question each week. Those are my worst videos back in the day. But I did a MC thing for the Veterans Center here in town for a veterans parade this last week, and everybody's like, man, it seems like you've done this before. I'm like, well, you'd be the president of your Rotary and do 63 meetings and been on live radio and 10,000 hours of video and other stuff. You get to a point where you don't care if you mess up. All right. So I want to go back to what you said. You don't care. You care that you want to do a great job, but it doesn't fluster you when you mess up, because you're going to mess up.
Yeah.
And that's one thing about live radio is they want you to, and if you record any radio, they want you to mess up and keep it in there so people think it was live, because it was live at one time.
I had somebody ask me that today. They're like, well, when you record these, do you stop them? Do you go fix them? I'm like, no. You screw up and you keep going. I just cut up a video today of one of the talks I did, and there's a few times I paused and had that awkward silence. To your point, when you're starting off, paralysis analysis kicks in, and you're so afraid of screwing up that you won't take action. And then the more you do it, you just learn, okay, that was a screw up. There you go. And you just bounce back from it. I mean, you're going to have issues where you have mini bombs, but it's rare that you're going to have a total bomb. The event I spoke at last Thursday in Arizona, when we were there, I was starting to go through my flow. Well, they weren't able to get the TV like they said. So I had my laptop set up, but I was the only one who could see my PowerPoint. It was just to keep me on track. But then one of the organizers said, well, just start bringing people up. And I lost a good portion of the audience because I was describing the features before I taught them how to understand the features. And so some people checked out, but you just adapt on the fly. And so was it my best presentation? No. So what did I do? I went back and I re-recorded the presentation with the PowerPoint and sent it to the organizer and said, hey, send this out to your attendees. I know they couldn't see it. A lot of people are visual. Here's how they can still learn. I didn't have to do that. I was already paid. The event's done. It's over. But it was what I wanted to do because I care about teaching the skill to other people. And so I said, here, send out the video. This is what I was going to present. I actually used PowerPoint to record it this time. So I know we talked about that on a previous call. You can go into PowerPoint now. There's a record button, and it puts you in a little circle like just in a Loom video. You can record, and you can record by slide. So if you don't like what you have in a Loom video, it's you just recording the whole time. In PowerPoint, each slide is its own separate voice recording and video. So if you screw up on one slide, you can just go back and edit it for that one slide versus the whole recording. Yeah.
And you can come in on one slide where you don't come in on the first slide, you come in the second slide or whatever slide it is.
Absolutely.
And what's happening is the companies who had these things like Loom and a lot of the other emails, now everybody's doing it. So it's getting to a point where we don't need these people anymore.
Yep.
What's up, George? Sorry, George broke in here.
Oh, I gotcha. Well, speaking of breaking in, I have to leave here in a few minutes to go get kiddo. So,
all right. No, we went a little bit longer today, but it's just one of those. It's important to not worry about things, and because you are going to mess up, and it's okay, and it's going to happen. Because the other day I watched one of your little videos when you were showing the place that you were going to talk at that night, and you said so, and I was like, oh, you said so.
I'm back to it. I was cutting up something on Opus clips today. I'm like, there's a so.
Yeah, but it's not as bad as it was because it was a drinking game for a while there. And that's something you have to learn. What words are you saying? Because one of mine was, I used to say something basically, a lot. And you don't want to, there's certain things you will need to watch your stuff and stop doing that because you don't. And if you pause, nobody knows why you're pausing.
Right.
It's a dramatic pause. It's like if you stop talking and whoever talks next wins, whatever you want to call it. It's the same thing. You're talking, you think about something. They don't know why you're pausing. You might want them to understand what they just heard.
Yeah.
Right. Make it sink in. And so you control everything. Nobody knows what you're talking about at all.
Right.
It's like on Monday when they messed up so much, the schedule was this, but then on the phone they had sent another one that was more accurate, but the one they printed out for us to go by was wrong. And one of the things is it's just real small, but before you do the national anthem, you got to put the colors out. Well, they did national anthem, then the colors. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're going to have that. And then we gotta have the colors okay, no problem. All right, let's get the colors going. I'm just, I'm one of those guys. Whatever it says here is what I'm doing. So.
Well, that's for some people who are nervous about recording and doing these things. There's an app you can put on your phone called Teleprompter that it literally is a teleprompter where the words just slide down and you read it. I don't like that because if I'm reading it, I'm overthinking it. It's kind of like why I suck at karaoke, because I'm reading the words instead of thinking, hey, I know this song, and I screw it all up. I sound like I got Tourette's. But you just got to figure out what works right for you.
And there's actually a teleprompter you can get for your camera that you put your phone underneath it and it scrolls as you're talking.
Yep.
The problem I ran into is I was reading the lines. My eyes were going with the lines.
Yeah. Hi, I am Ed, and I am doing good. Yeah.
No, my eyes, like you look back like tennis. I was like, okay, this is
what I'm saying. That is so good afternoon. Yes, I am here.
Even though on my radio show I read stuff all the time, I flow faster than I'm reading. Where my co-host is, if he reads it, it's like 5 years ago.
I see Ron Burgundy. Damn it! Who put that on the teleprompter again?
Yeah. Do a dramatic pause. Oh, I wasn't supposed to read that.
Yeah. Repeat the line. So,
all right, we appreciate you. We went a little long today because we are the Jokers.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for being here. You want to take us out?
Sure. Right. Hey, everybody, thanks again for joining Ed Parcaut and myself on ACES53. On Tuesdays, it's Ed and I. On Thursdays, we usually have a special guest that we call the Joker. That's someone with a skill or talent we think you guys could benefit from. The way that you could help us out is appreciate, share with your friends. And also let us know what you guys want to know more information about. We kind of get on, we talk about what's going on in our lives, but reach out to us. Let us know what you're having a problem with. Maybe you can come on and be the guest joker. Maybe it's something that we know someone who can help you with that skill, but we're here for you. So with that being said, everybody have a great week. And unfortunately you have to put up with Ed next week. So I don't know what else to say on that.
That'll be better. I won't have anybody interrupting or me talking over somebody.
That's right. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Make it a great day. I'll talk to you.